Right, everybody, and welcome back. So, got a hot one for you today. This one just came in very recently. We're talking about in the last 36 hours or so out of Dublin. So, we have a jiu-jitsu student, a jiu-jitsu purple belt out of Dublin that was able to save a woman from SA, right? You know, we can't say the full thing here on YouTube, but he was able to save a woman that was being targeted by a male. And we don't really have a ton of information on what happened to the male afterwards, whether he got away or not. Word is that he might have been a migrant or an illegal immigrant in that area. But we do have some pretty good videos, so let's get into this.
Sensational.
Right, you gotta excuse me. It's still about 5-ish in the morning over here, and I'm still waking up to make sure I get this out. But let's go. Let's break this down a little bit. So the guy's name is Andy Murray, purple belt out of Dublin. And as we see right here, a lot of people were questioning, why does he have his camera perfectly set up to capture this event if it was real, right? And it's a valid question nowadays, but also his answer was pretty valid itself.
I was aware I needed to protect myself.
Yeah.
Very start.
Yeah.
The reason why I was there, I was spending some time with some friends in an apartment in just across from James Hospital. And the night came to an end there. I was actually staying in my car that night for other reasons.
Okay.
But I realised where I parked was going to be a bike lane at 7 a.m. So I knew I needed to have to move. So I said, okay, right, I will get up and go down to this car park I know down at St. Patrick's Tower. A nice coffee shop place there too. Should be quiet. It was only like 200 metres down the road. So I go down there, pull in, and as soon as I pull in, I see that young girl back at the corner, right where you see the video start, and that big peering guy peering over her, really dug
So tall.
Yeah, I mean, it was all scuffly as well, and it seemed to start escalate quicker and quicker.
In this world where you can have a self-defense situation turn around and backfire on you, and now you're viewed as the aggressor, he wanted to have an insurance policy in case something went wrong. So it's really actually a smart thing to do. And actually I recommend like a little camera mount on your phone that can swivel, and it makes it so much easier, not only so you have hands-free driving, but also for these moments where you can tape incidents without having to hold the camera the entire time your hands are free. But getting into the video, we see here, he starts out by closing a distance, and he's got the best opportunity to get control, which is when the attacker has his back turned to him. He goes in for a double overhook body lock. So why that's really smart here in this case is mostly in jiu-jitsu we want to get double underhooks, right? So we can get inside control on an opponent. But the benefit here is this is an unknown situation. This is a self-defense situation where anything can go on, right? This guy could have a weapon that he's waiting to pull out at the right moment. So by going for double overhooks, he's able to keep his hands pinned inside his body. And I honestly say this guy was really kind of nicer than the aggressor deserved, than the attacker deserved. I think a lot of people would have slammed him head first on the ground, but he decided to use control. And it's a smart thing too, because being overseas, and I know Europe has a lot more stringent rules when it comes to self-defense. You aren't allowed as much leeway in a lot of circumstances. So he wanted to make sure he was taking care to protect himself for any future repercussions as well. This is what it appears to be, right? So as you can see, he gets his double overhooks, he comes in, he takes him down to the side, and unfortunately a lot of the action is off screen. And I apologize for the yelling, but you can see here he's got he's got back control, and you'll see it broken down in a moment as we look at the interview he did with a local councilman. But he gets back control and he chokes him out. And you can see the attacker's legs here if you take a look. And if you've been in training before, when you do jiu-jitsu and you've seen choke, you've seen that motion where the limbs are starting to go and starting to fade. So even though you can't see what's happening, you can tell he's finishing the choke. And he even states that he held it for about 20 seconds to ensure that he had properly, gotten him out, so that he was no longer an immediate threat and immediate danger for the moment.
And then I swapped over. Hold up, I swapped over to take it up from here, and then locked it in. But then I held it for about 20 seconds.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for right now. I thought this was a really good showcase of how you don't need to have a ton of tools or ton of weapons. What you need is a couple that you can transition to in a real life situation, from a standing to a ground position for control element. I think a lot of times in self-defense talk, we talk in super hypotheticals about 15 armed attackers with chainsaws and machetes. While that may be the case, I think more often than not we have these one-off events. If you're finding yourself in situations where you've got multiple attackers, you've got people drinking, you got to really make considerations of where you're spending your time. So it doesn't take a lot, and jiu-jitsu really is a superpower at the end of the day when you know how to fight and the other person does not. So that's my input. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. If you have situations that are similar to this that you have seen or been a part of, I'd love to get feedback from that. Let me know what you think. And shout out to Andy Murray for being a stand-up guy and taking action where needed. Until next time, peace.